Hello and welcome everybody to the session Amp Up Your LinkedIn Presence. I am Alan Sneha Abraham. I am a people success consultant with Up Advisory. We are super excited to have you all join us today for the next 1 hour. And this is what you can expect for the next 1 hour. We will start with some introductions. We'll spend a few minutes on why we should give attention to LinkedIn. Then I'll take you through a bunch of tips and tricks and some great free resources which you can use to amp up your LinkedIn presence. The last 10 minutes we'll spend in Q&A. And before we start, a few house rules from us. Please keep your audio off for now, and you can unmute during the Q&A. But the chat is enabled, so you can type any burning questions there. And if you face any tech issues and want to reach out for help, I don't plan to look at the chat regularly, so my colleague Marika here will be helping me man the chat. So please reach out to her if you have any questions or any tech issues. So the session is going to be recorded, and after the session later today, I will send out later today or tomorrow, I'll send out the recording of the session. So don't stress about taking screenshots or notes. Just focus on the session with your presence here. And if you want to have a look at it something later, you can always play the recording. A little bit about us. I'm part of Up Advisory. We are a boutique consulting firm. We are a HR consulting firm. And we design, implement, and broker HR solutions to enable high performance through people, and with a strong focus on driving business outcomes. Our solutions actually span the whole of employee life cycle. So today's session we are looking at, it's actually an extension of one of our services, which is outplacement. We work with our clients in their outplacement needs. If there are any companies who are doing layoffs, we've been working with some of them to basically handle their outplacement for the employees. We handle immediate next step support once the layoffs are announced. We work with them in their resume preparation, interview coaching, and doing basic training on LinkedIn and any advanced training on LinkedIn, and also career and personal coaching. For today's session, the focus is only going to be on the basic training for LinkedIn. So yeah, to start with here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. If you're here already in this session, I'm expecting that you know why LinkedIn is important for you, right? So just this is a infographic from LinkedIn itself, which just confirms some of our, it is for so far it is the #1 source of quality hires, and it is also one of those places where almost 90% of recruiters, if they're looking for new talent, they are using LinkedIn nowadays. So it is not an option anymore. So that is why we're focusing on LinkedIn. Now, I have a question for you. So I would ask you to open up your chats now, your chat box, and answer this question. Take a guess. What is the number of users on LinkedIn? It's in the millions, but take a guess how many millions? $750 million. 250, 40 million. Okay. Oh, okay. Alan, yeah, I mean, you got it almost right, because it's 700 million people, all close to 700,000 million people, because it's we are inching there. Everybody is on LinkedIn, so it is a platform where you got to be. To that effect, I'm launching a poll, which will come up in your screens right now. It has 3 questions. I'd appreciate it if you could answer all 3 of them. They're very quick. Just the poll will be open for only 30 seconds. It would have come up in your device, be it phone or in the laptop. Interesting numbers. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll now. Let's look at the results. Are you able to see the results on your screen?
Yes.
Great. So 1% does not have LinkedIn, 15 others have. Daily is how often do you log into LinkedIn? 56% log in daily. What are the two top activities? One is expansion of network, and then the next one is looking for jobs. Thanks for sharing. It's interesting. These numbers are quite interesting for us to know as well. What we are focusing on in this session is going to be focused on your brand building. So a small percentage of you said brand building. So we are going to be focusing this session in your LinkedIn profile and your LinkedIn activity, which is what makes up your LinkedIn brand. And why are we focusing on LinkedIn brand building for your personal brand building? The reason is because we never want you to miss an opportunity to be found if someone is looking for you, especially if you want to be found. And in these days, if you are in your job search mode, if you are even in your expansion of network mode, you want to be found. And when people find you, you want to have a good looking profile. You want to make sure that people leave your profile knowing what you do, knowing a little bit more about you than how they came into your profile. So that is what the focus of this session is going to be. And before I jump into each elements of LinkedIn, I wanted to give you a small proof of concept. Now, I've been working with a few people coaching on their LinkedIn profiles. What I share with you now is the example profile of one of my clients for whom I worked with him to make just a few changes. He's working in a semiconductor industry. He's a technology person. And with the few changes that we made in the most visible or the most obvious elements, I want to share with you what was the impact of that. The numbers that I'm sharing with you happened over the span of 3 to 4 weeks. This is just to show what difference a few simple tweaks can make. So the profile views increased so we started making changes around here. You can see this number is about 6 to 8 were his regular profile views for a few months. When we started making changes around here, and then the profile number of views started increasing. Here is around where we made changes in his job title and things like that, and it increased to 46 views. So that is just the most visible element. But when it comes to job search, what is this search appearances is what is going to be critical for you. What this means is recruiters or anybody who's looking in LinkedIn, if they're using keywords, your profile is coming up using those keywords or not, is basically what this is. This is the number that you need to focus on when you are in job search mode. And if you are able to make improvement in this number, that means you are appearing in searches. So with that, we go into the crux of this session, which is your visibility on LinkedIn for other people. Now, I'm going to start with some of the elements that are not obvious on the profile itself, but they are very critical. Because when you're starting to work on your LinkedIn profile, it is easy to start spending a lot of time making your profile look super beautiful. But if your profile is not visible, and if your profile is set to be hidden for search engines, then there's really no point. So I'm going to start with, so with everybody that I work with, for anybody who I do LinkedIn coaching or any LinkedIn changes, this is the place where I start. Each of our profiles have a URL and they can be customized. This is the URL that generally LinkedIn gives you, will usually end with a string of numbers with your name as is, and then a string of numbers. And this is, of course, URLs are all unique, right? So you will have to get there first. It's like first come, first serve. If you have a common name, you have to make sure that you get there, change your name in such a way that it is it is visible like this. Like for me, my name is my business name is Alan Sneha Abraham, so I use the whole name with hyphens here. Now, if you go into Google or any search engine and look for Alan Sneha Abraham in LinkedIn, or you even if you don't use the word LinkedIn, Alan Sneha Abraham, my LinkedIn profile will come up first. That will be the first search result. The reason that why this is important is because if somebody is looking for you, this is the place that gets the maximum hit when it comes to search engine optimization. So if you have a common name, it is even more important to make sure that you get this right. So that is the very first element that you need to change in your profile even before you start making any other changes. Then we are getting to the visibility of your profile. Where your profile is visible is determined by this particular setting. Right under your edit content, this is all happening in your edit profile. Under the edit content, you want to make sure that this blue button is activated, and under this blue button, all of the other blue buttons are activated as well. So if you want to be available or visible when people are searching for you in Google, Bing, or any other search engines, you want to make sure that you have this button set to public, and all other elements of your there are some elements of your LinkedIn profile which you can hide from the world if that is what you want, but I highly recommend that you make sure that you set all of these invisible to be visible mode. Here's another thing that is very interesting. When it comes to profile views, when you go and look at people's profiles, sometimes you can turn up something like this. And I get this almost every day. There are a lot of people who might visit my profile and I will see something like founder in the management consulting industry from Salt Lake City metropolitan area. It's tiring even to read it. And there's no way I will know who this person is. If your priority is to be visible in LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you don't appear like this. Instead, appear as you are by your name. You can be appearing like this because you have set up your setting and privacy to be in a private mode. And some of these changes that I'm talking about, it is highly likely that you made your LinkedIn profile 10 years ago, and that was probably the default setting, and it just stayed that way. So when you start using LinkedIn now, you want to make sure that your setting is set to be your name and headline, so that when you visit other people's profile, they are able to see me as Alan Sneha Abraham instead of seeing me as research fellow in the civic social organization industry. I don't even know what this means. So it's basically, sometimes it's just meaningless. So make sure this is set. And why is this important is because every profile visit is also an opportunity for you to be visible to the other person. If the other person from the other end finds your profile interesting, it is highly likely they will come back, visit you, and that will end up being a conversation or a relationship that you can add to your network later. So that was the not so visible part. Now we are getting into the obvious parts, the visible. What is it that you have in your profile? When people come visit your profile, this is how it looks to them. So you have your photo, your profile, your LinkedIn banner, and the title, your about section, experience. So we are going to have we're going to spend a few minutes looking at these sections now. There's a raging debate going on in terms of what is the most important element. What do recruiters look at, or what do your profile visitors look at when they first visit your profile? Now, when I displayed this without even you knowing it, without even you wanting to look at it, you must have been looking at the photo of the person. There is research to prove that people are attracted to people faces. So it is very obvious, it is very normal for people to be looking at people photographs when they visit profiles. So this undoubtedly is the most important element of your profile. Make sure that you have a profile photograph, and not just any profile photograph, a photograph which has some elements that where you're clearly visible, a headshot which is not a far shot but a headshot closer, and you make sure that you either have a plain background or a blurred background. I intentionally put a few non-solid multiple color backgrounds here to show you that even backgrounds which have color in the even if they are not solid in color, they can still be made to look good. But preference is to have a background like this, a solid color, any solid color that goes well with your presence, that shows you in the presence. And many people have problem choosing the right photograph when it comes to profile. I want to share with you a very, very interesting and very useful tip with you. Is this website called photofeeler.com. It is a free resource where you can go in. If you have a few photographs, 2 or 3 photographs which you are deciding and want to know which one looks good, not just look good, because you're going to be this is going to be the face of your profiles, your LinkedIn profile, so you want to make sure you get the right photograph in there. So leave your photograph in this website for a while, and choose business. You will be rated on these 3 elements: competent, likable, influential. The way this works is very interesting. It is the photofeeler.com website works on a give and take modus operandi. It is like you give ratings to other people's profiles and other people rate your profiles. So wait until at least you've gotten about 20 to 30 votes. Now I got 20 votes here, and I waited until, I just left it until about 65, 70 votes. It did not make any difference. So the sweet spot for getting votes is about 25. If you get about 25, you know that the results are not going to change a lot. One other interesting thing about this is that this is research proven, that if you are a woman, focus on either one of this, either competent or likable. It is very rare to get a competent and likable, both high scores, if you are a woman. And this is not just me saying it. This is psychology, and it is proven by research, but it's just a small snippet. There. Now, the next element is your LinkedIn banner. After your photograph, the most visual element in your LinkedIn profile is actually the banner. Most of the people have it quite blank these days because it's either they don't know or they don't have the time to go and make changes there. But I'm sharing the example that I'm sharing here is of a person who's made really good use of their LinkedIn banner. This person is a real estate broker, and that is very visible here because he has shown some photographs of buildings and also his contact numbers. So he has made it as easy for you as a viewer to make sure that you get in touch with him. Now, this is a professionally done banner, and would cost you a few $100s if you were to hire somebody to do it. But you can do it for free. There is this amazing website called canva.com. Many of you may be using it already. They have a lot of free posters and banners which you can use. Just go into canva.com. Even if you are a free member, it allows you to download some of their the photographs and banners. Look for specifically LinkedIn banner, and some options will come up. I have pasted here a couple of options. These look quite good. Like you will be allowed to remove the photograph from here and then put in your photograph if that's something that you want. You can customize this code. So this is an excellent resource which you can make use of to change your banner. And once you have designed a banner, it's just a one-click upload and you'll be able to have a brand new, fresh-looking banner. After the banner, the element that we're looking at is your LinkedIn title. There are several ways to do LinkedIn titles, but I'm going to share with you 2 schools of thoughts. One is the top one that you're seeing is me using keywords. If you can see there, it is all phrases, just short phrases of the things that I do, or that of the work which are my expertise: employee engagement, talent development, competency based HR. So this is a method that is mostly used, and this is a very effective method, and I'll tell you why. For in LinkedIn, when you are looking for an employee engagement consultant, the keywords used in the title will come up. Whoever uses employee engagement in their title, their profiles will come up in their search results. So this is a very effective method if you are focused on being found, being visible on LinkedIn. The second option that I have here, this is a completely different method, is to use your value proposition. So what is the work that I do? I am a HR consultant. So my value proposition is I help managers build great teams that stick together. Now, this does not have as many keywords. It is not highly likely that I will turn up in search results, but there is another place where I will turn up in, which is the place whenever I am commenting on a place, like, if I am leaving a comment on somebody's post, or whenever I go and like something, there are three elements that come up there: my photograph, my name, and also my title. So these two methods have totally different purposes. This particular method, where I'm using the value proposition, keeps on reinforcing the message that to my network or to whoever I'm connecting to, that Sneha Abraham helps managers build great teams. So it depends on which method that you use. Like, you want to be turning up on keyword searches right now, and that's your priority, you could use this. Or if you want you have a built-in network already, all your focus is on building sales, then you probably best to use this. I will show you a very simple formula, and this again, I need you to fire up your chat boxes, open up your chat boxes and have a go at this. Here is a simple formula that you can use to make your own LinkedIn title. So this is how you need to do it. Like, who are your target people that you work with, like, your target audience, your target customers, those are X. I help X to do Y, and using Z is an option. It will be nice to have. It's a nice to have, but not essential. But have a go at this, so we can see how you are able to use this. I'm gonna let the chat up and give you 1 full minute to do this. Scott has mentioned, I help expats buy property in the UK using 20 years of experience. Bang, there you go. That's excellent, Scott. Anyone else gonna try? Shuchi's one is, I help companies get the best talent across industries. Awesome. I help companies hire best talent with my expertise. That's Ashwin. Thanks, Ashwin. Yeah, this is so clear, right? It is such a simple formula. Archana says, I help organizations build better culture and improve performance through coaching and leadership interventions. Awesome. So this is how we can, by the end of the session, if you keep thinking about it, for the people who haven't shared yet, you keep thinking about it. By the end of the session, you'll be able to, you don't have to get it right the first time. I have changed my title. I change it every month, I think. So every time you think of something new, you can add it and then have a go at it to see whether it works. So I will also tell you what I ended up with. So I'm big time on FOMO, right? You know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out. So I didn't want to miss out on the keywords, but I also wanted to make sure that people understand my value proposition. So I put those together. I put both hybrid, is like I help managers build great teams that stick together. I help small and medium companies build their brand on LinkedIn. And then I squeezed in two of my LinkedIn keywords, which are HR consultant and LinkedIn consultant. They have a word like, a word count limit to this, a letter count limit to this. So I wish they would give me more. I would add more, but they won't look very good. But you can do that. I mean, play around with your title as much letters it will allow you. Have a go at it and keep changing it as things change, or uh, as you find new ideas. The next element is your LinkedIn summary. This is the one that comes up after all these elements that we spoke about. About comes up quite prominently in your profile. But the key element of about is that people only see the first two statements in full. They do not see anything more than that you write. But if you are, if they are very interested in you, they might click on see more and look at it. But it is very unlikely, it's a very small percentage of people who will do the click on see more and look at it. So the top tip that I can leave you with for LinkedIn summary is that make sure that your top two lines provide a hook for them to open it or stay interested in your profile. I have used my belief statements. So I have two belief statements, which I have used here. Here I have an example of a friend of mine who used this statement. I have professionals articulate their thinking for better business results. But what I really like is the way that she has used her second statement to make it personable and relatable. Everyone calls me Sham, so please do. So what that makes is you kind of help form a relationship when you are using this personable statement or relatable statements. So with this, you leave her profile knowing that what do her friends call her, you already know. That you know a little bit more about this person than the time that you came in. So that's your LinkedIn summary. And your experience, I'm not going to go into the details of this, of what is the best practices of how to write experience, but I just want to tell you, all of your profiles will show only your top 5 experiences. Whatever you write in there, make sure they are most relevant. And if you want to move around jobs, if your first job is more relevant than, among the top 5, there is 1 or 2 jobs that are not very relevant, feel free to move them around. They don't have to be in chronological order. What that means is many people treat LinkedIn as a resume. You don't have to, because it is not a legal document. So you want to make sure that you treat it as you deem fit, as you want to be visible. If you feel like you want to split up a job to make sure that you want to show two completely different to show them as two completely different jobs, even if it is in the same company, feel free to do that. It is not a legal document. So play around with your experience, make it more visible. And one big paranoia that most people have with changing anything on LinkedIn is that, will everybody in LinkedIn get to know that I have made changes? And LinkedIn actually let you choose this. Announcing any change is actually your choice. So when you're making any major changes, make sure you look down on this section to see whether you want to share it with the network. If it is something that you want to share, make sure it's blue. Otherwise, just keep it off and then make the changes. And that will help not to broadcast into your network. And the last few of those is education, certificates, and volunteer experience. Make sure you have your education. LinkedIn gives a lot of importance to your degree that you put in here, because it also shows up in your business card that comes up on the top of the profile. Licenses and certificates, only 3 will be visible, and these, the visibility, you cannot move around. It shows you in chronological order. So if there is something in the COVID lockdown, if you have you just did an online course on French cuisine and you want to add your certificates, but you're a project manager, I would suggest not, because that would come up first because of the date. Whatever date that you did it comes up first. So I have done a lot more certificates that are not related to my job, so which I haven't displayed here, just for the fact that I want to make sure that people see that I have these certificates visible. Another underrated section of LinkedIn is volunteer experience. A lot of us have or do volunteering with a lot of organizations or support sometimes organizations with our time. And that is something that also helps people know you a bit more, kind of helps you build a better brand for yourself. Now, I am a blood donor and I'm quite proud of it. So I put it out there so that you know that I am a blood donor. And it's a very simple thing which you can use to build your brand a little bit better. Now, I told you about this education or your latest degree, but that could come up here. This is the place that it could come up. You could switch this off. There is an option to not show your latest education, but just know that you have the option to do it as well, like switch it on and off. So skills and recommendations is the part that is super important when it comes to skills, and endorsement is very important when it comes to keyword search. There is a lot of evidence to show that recruiters, when they're looking for profiles, if you have a very heavily skilled, if you have an endorsement section which is strong, it is highly likely that you come up in their search results. Now, if I apply for a job for talent management, in anything in talent management, because I have 54 endorsements here, I might come up on top of people who are more experienced just because I am more endorsed in this area. So this is an area that you have to make sure that you make sure that you add your skills. Secondly, you also have to make sure that you are open for endorsements, and I will get to that in a minute. Recommendations work in a completely different way, but equally important. If skills and endorsement is that section that will help people find you, recommendations will be that section which makes people give you an idea of what you are, build your brand a bit more, and to add credibility to your brand. This is not high on keyword search, so because it's more qualitative, it does not have a lot of keywords, but it is still a very nice to have field. Now, the reason why I have my red arrows here is because oftentimes what happens is that we populate our skills and forget to change the setting of the skills. If you set your endorsement setting to be not receiving endorsements, then nobody will be able to send you any endorsements. So make sure once you have your endorsement setting, once you have your endorsement skills list, make sure these are all blue, and that's the only time LinkedIn will be able to let your profile be open for endorsements. And that brings us to the end of the first part, which is the LinkedIn profile. Now we are going to jump into the second part of the session, which is LinkedIn activity. So the next several minutes, we're going to be spending on your LinkedIn activity. And when this happens, like, if you are new to LinkedIn, and this is an area where people struggle with to start, where do you start when it comes to if you want to be active on LinkedIn? Now you have your profile up and ready, now you want to be active in the platform, and you're thinking, okay, what do I do? I want to share with you some basics. Then there are some more than basics which I don't have the time to go into today, but you cannot go wrong with the basic stuff. So when you're starting to get active on LinkedIn, start with these. You can just like posts of other people whom you think are interesting and important. You can just click like on them, and then you can also, if you feel strongly about it, and if you have an actual opinion about some of the posts that people comment on, do leave your opinions. And typical comments like great post, just a smiley, or a thumbs up, I would recommend to avoid, because they don't really add any value to the conversation, and it doesn't also, people are able to see whatever activity that you post. So if you're posting, then I highly recommend to post something of insight, and any opinion that you have or any insight that you have. Then when it comes to shares, if you are looking to post something, start with resharing already existing material. Or if somebody posts in your network, if somebody posted some article, a nice article, or any good, insightful post, take that and reshare it in your profile. And that is definitely not offensive. It is, in fact, it is considered quite a compliment. If you are resharing somebody's post, that just means that, you know, the original poster kind of gets the credit. If you're posting from there, if you're resharing from the original post, they will get the credit. People will get to see that this is the original poster. It is indirectly a compliment as well. So people are very open to sharing, resharing. So feel free to do this. And if you get a little bit more, if you've gotten a hang of that, you can progress to text posts to start with. If you find something interesting and you want to do a text post, you have a still have a word limit to it, but then it's quite a bit. So you can almost write an essay. When you do a text post, my pro tip would be to use photographs. The LinkedIn algorithm gives preference to any posts that have visual elements like photographs. So if you post it with a photograph, it is highly likely to be seen by a network. And also, people prefer to look at posts that has photographs. From my experience of posting, if I posted without any photograph, just the text, I would get half the amount of views compared to one with the post, with the photos. So make sure, feel free to use relevant photographs. And why should you bother to like or comment on other people's posts, right? So this is a concept that I wanted to explain, and it is something, it's a beautiful concept. Like, we are all connected in the network. The LinkedIn, when you're going into LinkedIn, you have your first connections. Let's say you have 1,000 of them or 100 of them. Those 100 people are also connected to a few other hundreds or a few other thousands. So every time, let's imagine if you are this black dot here, and if you like or comment a post of this black dot, imagining all of these are people, when you just leave a comment on this person's post, it gets visible to all of these people who are connected in that person's network. And that exponentially increases your visibility of what you have said or what you have liked. And every time you like something, like I shared in the previous slides, every time you like something, these three elements, your photograph, your name, your job title, your LinkedIn title, shows up. And that is a massive value for just spending a few seconds liking somebody's post. So feel free to do this. I mean, it is one of those things which is so simple yet so powerful. Now, when we are talking about posts, this is very, very important element. LinkedIn a few months ago added this added a feature called featured post. What this means is when I post something, usual shelf life of a post is maybe a day, few hours to a day, and then it goes away, it gets lost in the feed. And if it is an important post, if it is something that I want people to look at when people visit my profile, now there is an option called this featured post. So what this means is that it will be there. It's like your pinned tweet. Like if you have been a user of Twitter, it's like your pinned tweet, except this is there. You are allowed to do more than one. You can do up to about 12 or so, where if they are willing, if they spend a little bit more time, they will be able to see all the posts that you have featured here. And how the way to do it is to go to your posts, go under your activity, go to your posts, and just if you click on this hamburger button, the first option that comes up is feature on top of profile. Click on that, and that activity or that post that you just made will turn up in this section of your profile. So after people see all of your visual elements and your title and the about section, the next thing that they see, even before they go to your experience section or any other section, will be your featured section. So it is a really, really important place to put elements that you want other people to see.
for me, I put my video here. I create videos once in a while, so about HR and also about LinkedIn and web meetings. So I have featured many of my videos, but my top feature is an article which quoted me on BBC. For me, that's like, yeah, it's a very important thing. If BBC is going to interview me, I want to make sure people know that, right? So I've left this on my feature for quite a while. If nothing more important happens, I think this will stay in my profile for a few more months. So that is something, that is also a place where you can, if you are in job search mode, you can make a video of yourself, a video resume to put there to be featured, so that if a recruiter comes onto your profile and have a look at that video, they actually get to see, not just to read your experiences, but also to see you, to get a feel of what the person is, who the person is. So that is about the featured post. Now we are going to talk a little bit, spend a few more minutes on hashtags. Hashtags is a concept that may not be new to people if you've been using social media like Twitter. If you can see here, this is a text post of, this is actually a video post of mine where I have also put some text in there, and I ended up with hashtags that are relevant to the post that I just made. The reason why this is important is because, okay, so when I do my post, I get the opportunity for this to be visible to all of my network, and when people come and like it or comment it, it is visible also to those people's network. That could be my third level connection. But when I put in a hashtag here, let's say, for example, hashtag employee engagement, there LinkedIn gives you an option to follow unlimited hashtags. As a HR consultant, I follow several that are of interest to me. So when I use this hashtag, whoever is following this employee engagement hashtag gets to see this post as well, and that helps me reach out to people who are not in my first level, not in my second level, not even in my third level connections, completely out of my network. And that's a huge value when it comes to expanding your network. Now, that also does not mean that when you're using hashtags, there are several different schools of thought in this, right? So there are a lot of people who recommend using not more than 3. I would say use hashtags as relevant as possible to your maximum word count. If you have a limitation, make sure that you are within your limitation, but use as much as is required. The other thing that you need to know about hashtags is that when you're starting to use hashtags, you need to know that not all of them are made equal. So I do a lot of content related to team collaboration. So hashtag collaboration is a very a regular hashtag that I use. One time by mistake I used collaborations instead of collaboration, and look at the difference that it is going to make. When I use my post which has hashtag collaboration, it's likely to reach close to 400,000 people. The same post, when I use it with the S, it's just one letter difference, and it will only reach 485 people. Look at that, just that small one letter made, the difference that one small letter made, right? So it's super important to know your hashtags. When you're using it, make sure you do a little bit of research to see, okay, which one has more. It's just gonna take under a minute. I am quite aware that I've been talking through, pushing you through the content of this presentation so far. We have covered LinkedIn profile and a little bit of LinkedIn activity. We haven't gone into detail about the activity, but whatever this 1 hour could allow, I've tried to cover that. There is a lot more. LinkedIn network, we haven't spoken anything about LinkedIn network or how to expand and to grow a strong network. or LinkedIn content on terms of how do you make a content and what kind of posts. That is, we do all that in our LinkedIn, one-to-one coaching, as well as, client coaching for companies. So if you are interested in talking to us more, or wanting to do a little bit more work on this, feel free to contact me and add me on LinkedIn. We can have a conversation over there. There is a lot more. What I shared with you is like the tip of the iceberg, right? For when it comes to any platform, not just LinkedIn, but especially when it comes to LinkedIn, there's a lot of things that are out there. And LinkedIn is adding more features by the day. They have polls, they are introducing stories, they are doing LinkedIn events, they have LinkedIn Live, like how Facebook has Live, and they have LinkedIn pages. So there is a lot more than what I just shared today. So I don't want you to think that, yeah, you have gotten that's all you need to know about LinkedIn. So keep exploring is what I would say. And if you need help in exploring, I would, get in touch with us. So that brings us to the close of the session. Connect with me on LinkedIn to stay in touch. Up Advisory has a LinkedIn page, so follow us in Up Advisory LinkedIn page. Any events like this, we have sessions. We've done sessions before, and we'll be doing that in the future as well. So you'll get to know of any sessions that are happening if you follow us on our LinkedIn page. And also get in touch with us if you need one-to-one LinkedIn coaching or in-house group sessions for your company, for your teams. And the poster that I put out here is related to outplacement. This is, like I said, this is one of our services. We are a HR consultancy. So help us grow our HR consultancy business. We would love it if you can recommend us or refer us to any of your internal company HR or any others who have the need. So that's the end of the session as far as my sharing is concerned. Now I'm gonna open up this. I'm gonna stop sharing now, and now we can do Q&A. I'm happy to see that most of you are still here. I didn't drive you away.
You have one question on the chat, Ellie.
Okay.
From Minan.
Yeah, hi. This is Minalia. Should I put on my video?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Minan.
Hi. So I find, and I read somewhere, Alan, that when I'm using an outside post, which is on any other of the internet, on the online content, it doesn't reach that many. Because LinkedIn, when I dwelt deeper, that LinkedIn doesn't like content. I mean, doesn't like to take its readers, viewers, away from the platform per se. However, if I share a LinkedIn content, like for example, your content, which you made exclusive, that video you talked about and you wrote live, that will resound with them a lot. So how do you deal with that? Because a very important part of LinkedIn is content pillars, and it's not so much about content. That's a manifestation of point of view of context. Context is more important than content, right? So then how am I supposed to share and express my point of view if I'm not able to share outside content? So how do you deal with that?
So for me, what I do is like, you're right. LinkedIn does not like to send people away from their network. And that is true for most social media, and especially LinkedIn. Even when you put out, let's say if you copy a URL and try to post it in LinkedIn, LinkedIn will mask the URL so that it looks like a LinkedIn URL. You may have noticed that. So it is a very old behavior of LinkedIn. And as far as expressing yourself is concerned, there are ways to there's one thing. Twitter and LinkedIn have almost a seamless posting when it comes to, you're making a Twitter post, you can immediately post that onto LinkedIn. Similarly, when you make a LinkedIn post, you can seamlessly post it to Twitter automatically. You just have to click on one button and you make sure that you get both social platforms. So you can, I would say you can still, there's no this thing on restriction on expressing yourself, but you can use the same video. If you make a video and if you do want to hire views, it is put the video on LinkedIn and then share it in other places, because YouTube, like Twitter and Facebook don't have the same level of restrictions. And if you are looking to expand your professional network, LinkedIn is still the best platform to be.
So what you're trying to say is that it doesn't matter. I mean, there are situations where I express a point of view, and LinkedIn may not therefore spread it. The algorithms will constrict it because it's an outside external content like an HBR or an entrepreneur or an Inc.com or something. But that's okay. It's something that we got to live with, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
That's just what I wanted to know. Thank you for that, because it's important sometimes, because your point of view sometimes, a magazine says it so beautifully and you want to have that, you want to advocate, and that's what you stand for. So so it doesn't matter. It's just what I wanted to check, whether is there anything that is right or wrong, or it's just a part of it.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't stop me, right? That shouldn't stop me from.
Because definitely it shouldn't. You should be doing more of it. LinkedIn actually likes if you share, like I keep sharing a lot of reports from other agencies like Mercer. I share, they come out with a lot of good reports. I get equal number of views in terms of, my original post compared to this. It actually depends on what you're sharing, whether the content is helpful for people. If you are in a network, like people who are valuing that content, they will click on it. And the more they click on it or the like on it, then, it kind of picks up the momentum from other people's liking and commenting, and that spreads your content.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Milal. Are there any? Yes, Archana, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Alan. First of all, I wanted to thank you for a fantastically done up session. It was brilliant. I was actually struggling how to use LinkedIn. So it's been very informative. So very quickly, 2 questions, and it's a very basic one. So pardon me for this. I've been trying to do this and I've not been successful. So there are many times I've put in a post and now I want to hashtag some people, right? Now, the first question is, can I only hashtag those people if they are my connection? That's one. Second, how do I hashtag? Is it @ or you use that? It's @
Yes, it is.
But they have to be your connection, right?
No, they don't have to be your connection. I can, @ Oprah Winfrey, and that would be okay. If Oprah has not set a privacy setting to be not tagged. So there's a difference. Hashtag is for content, tag is for people, which is @ you use @ for people. But you as a person can restrict it for your own use. So to say, I don't want next time Scott puts out a content, every time Scott tags me, I don't want that. So I can go in and change my setting, but that will be apply for everybody. And many celebrities do that. They do not want to
and again, sure. And you go and change this again in your settings and all of that, right?
Yes. Everything is very easy. As far as LinkedIn is concerned, they make it so easy that you are able to control as much of it as possible.
Sure. So thank you. So what I heard you say is you necessarily do not have to be connected with that individual to hashtag, to kind of tag them.
Yes, you're right.
Thank you. Second thing, you mentioned about somebody shared a post in my network and I want to further share it on my homepage, right? Now, I've heard very mixed reviews about that. You kind of said it's a good thing to do, right? Now, if somebody shared a post, now my network has possibly seen it. So when I go and repost it on my page, right? Who is seeing it then? Because my network has already seen that probably.
See, the thing is, you and I, even if we are connected, we have our own network that not everybody is connected to everybody. So it will not be always the same content for the people. So
sorry. So sorry. I don't know what's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is if you are connected to me, I come with my own connections and you come with your own connections. The LinkedIn algorithm is intelligent enough to not push the same content to the people again and again if you are resharing it. If you have noticed, you will not see too many reshares, unlike Facebook. Facebook, once you have the same content, if you share the, tagging goes all over the place. LinkedIn, on the other hand, you are able to see one content. If somebody from your LinkedIn network shares it, you may not see it again. But the people who have not seen it in their network, because they come with their own network, they will be able to see it.
Sure. One last question. Am I allowed?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Go ahead. We
So
have.
I used to be a paid member earlier. I'm no longer a paid member, right? Now, if I post something and I get 160 views, I'm not able to go and see who's viewed my post.
Right.
That only a paid, that's a paid facility?
No, you will be able to see, even if you are like the likes, you will be able to see. But the
I
views,
can't see it. Yeah, views.
the views, you will not be able to see the full list. Like
Yeah,
somebody came in and looked at your profile.
No, if it says 160 views on that post, and I want to see who are those 160 people who saw
Okay.
that.
I have not had that problem because I was an unpaid member and now I'm a paid member. I have been seeing the the full list.
Okay.
So before you all go off, I also wanted to know, so has the session been helpful? Please leave your feedback, anything that you want to on just a comment, a feedback. I'd really appreciate it if you can put it in your chat. If you want to unmute yourself and say it, that's fine, but it will be good too. And we are reaching 4 p.m. So the session is officially over, but I'm going to be hanging around for 10 more minutes. So feel free to hang around. So I'm not sending out anybody, but please do these two things. One is leave your comment, leave your feedback. And if you have any more questions, we are here for another 10 minutes.
Hi, Lynn. Ashwin
Hi,
Kumar here
Ashwin.
from Bangalore. Yeah, it was nice catching up with you and learning a lot of tips. I think it was quite helpful. Probably a couple of them I knew, but as learning is never-ending journey, I think learned a lot of things is what I should say from today's webinar. Thanks for that again. And before concluding, probably I would say I have sent you a connection request. So probably once you're free, you could accept that and we can stay connected.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Please feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, I am not maxed out, so there's no restriction. Mostly there's a 30,000 people restriction and it's a long way for many of us. So yeah, keep the connections coming.
That's really true. Thanks for guiding us through.
No problem at all, Ashwin.
Happy weekend ahead.
I'm happy it was helpful.
Thank you.
Hi, Ellen. Lata here
Hi,
from Bangalore. Yeah, very informative session. Thanks. I think I was absorbing all that you were sharing. Some of it was new, some of it I knew. So I think I'm still processing it. As Ashwin mentioned, I will be sending you across a LinkedIn request and at a later point of time. Yes, I think I have questions. I'm still, thinking about them. So I think I will definitely collect my thoughts and maybe send it across to you or maybe chat up with you. Thanks a lot for this effort. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Lata. Thanks for joining.
Same here.
Scott, you unmuted a while ago. Is there anything that you wanted to say?
No, sorry, hang on. I was just being facetious because you mentioned my name about not wanting me to tag you anymore. I was like, oh, thanks very much.
Please tag me. Please tag me. I'll go back on that. Please tag me.
As everyone's listening, while you were talking, I didn't know that you could edit the featured section on
Yes.
profile. So thanks for that. And I've updated it as we were talking. So it looks a lot better now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Vikram, I see you have your hand up. Do you want to unmute yourself and talk? Okay, that may have been by, yes, Archana?
Alan, I just wanted to check, would there be any plan to do any future similar sessions through Eventbrite?
We have not planned anything. This is the first one that we are doing on LinkedIn. We have done, HR session before, other sessions, but we haven't done anything on LinkedIn, and we don't plan to do it not in the near future. But follow us on the the Up Advisory page on LinkedIn. If there is anything that we are coming up with, we'll definitely put it there.
Sure. Thank you. Very nice
Yes,
session.
yes, Neha, thank you for the wonderful session. It's like rock your LinkedIn profile. Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback.
So one quick thing,
Yes,
as you
yes,
covered on the basics parts, it's very helpful. What would be the advanced parts, like the little bit in depth? What would be the on a high level the sections it would be?
So I just touched on the usage of hashtags, right? So in advanced, when we're talking about advanced, we're talking about things like how you can use your hashtags and how you can make a simple infographic content. This is related to content. So when in the advanced section, we have the LinkedIn network and also the how to make content. So when it comes to network, there are ways you can get a lot more the right kind of people to join your network. So we could cover that, and then a lot more on content and content strategy, content pillars, all the things that earlier we were talking about. If it is something that you are interested in, we can get in touch, and then we can have a conversation about it.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you.
Thanks, Vikram.
Hey, Sneha.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. Hi. This is Das. Let me introduce myself. I actually from delivery management background, working for Microsoft, manage Asia Pacific. And the worst part is I don't have any LinkedIn profile yet. And
you were the only one.
Right.
You were the culprit.
I was the culprit in the poll, saying no, I don't have, and being like myself and a couple of others in this call are from Microsoft, and wonderful session. Thank you so much. It was very informative for us. And I actually little introvert in nature, so I don't socialize. I don't that active in any of the social platforms. So I considered even LinkedIn as one of such social platforms. That's the reason why I didn't even create any profile, but realized that it's not just to have a profile, but now it's a mandatory thing. It's a very important thing to have a good LinkedIn profile and update and have good connections, and networking is the mantra right now, right? And so with all the very best, and it was a wonderful, great session. It was super informative for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really happy that it was helpful.
I think I would second that. I'm Alan. This is Lata here.
Hi, Lata.
I am also an introvert, and I see everybody on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm not on that. And I'm told that I should be more social, but I'm basically as a person introvert. Not that I have not known people, but I think I'm not connected with them on LinkedIn. So now at this phase that I am at right now, I think that is coming up, and I think I need to start building my network and be a little bit more active, in terms of how I am and what I am on LinkedIn. So I think I definitely need to chat up with you to get more help and assistance. So let's see. Let me see how it works out. Yes, but I think it's an issue. I think the new generation, like I see my niece, they're all the time on the network and doing something or the other, and they're like, oh my god, and I'm not there. But then I think it's also related to the kind of person you are, somebody who speaks less. But when I speak, but then I'm not the kind who'll be like Never been that kind. So I think I can
You,
relate to what Das is saying. So I think need help on that side, definitely.
yeah, absolutely. So, Lata, the thing is also, LinkedIn is designed to be a place where you can just go and be as well. For me, the place, if you're wanting to get interested in it, I would say the place to start is to make it a habit. If you don't have it yet, first download the app on your phone. Use it as your news, just for your news and entertainment for now. When you're starting off using LinkedIn, just to get a taste of it, just use it. Go ahead and follow a few people that you are, you're inspired by, or the people who
Sure.
are similar to your profile,
Sure.
and then just follow some of the hashtags.
Yeah.
LinkedIn for the past about the past 6 months, they have been really focusing on news and entertainment. What that means is they have hired a lot of top-notch editors to make sure that a lot of content has been like, not fake content, but they are really trying to make content that are relatable for people who are in the network. So they have been focusing on that because they want to keep people in the network, keep people interested in the network. So now the way I use LinkedIn is I get up in the morning, I look at it. I do not use Google News or the news channels anymore, because this kind of gives me the ones that I want to follow, the news about the people I want, about the companies that I want. They're all almost like 80% of the companies, when they set up, they also set up their Google, LinkedIn page. So when they put in their the news comes in through their the LinkedIn page as well. So you get the company news, you also get the world news, you get the people news. And if you are not up to making content yet, you can just start doing by like what Das was sharing. If you are an introvert, you're not wanting to make content, just like and comment for now. And then if you find something insightful, you will get to a place where you cannot keep it within you and you have to share your opinion. You can do that.
Yeah. I've taken the baby steps. The very fact that I'm not switching on my video also speaks a lot. I am that kind of person, just be in the background all the time, so but I have taken baby steps, but I think I have miles to go, and I think it will be useful for me as a professional and also as a person. And I think there's a lot to share. Everybody has has rich experiences that they can share and talk about and share. So yeah, I think I need to take little bigger steps now. So I think this is a good starting point. Thanks, Alan, for the session today.
Hey, thank you, Lata. So it has been wonderful, talking to everybody, and I really loved just hanging out. And I wasn't enjoying the first bit where I was the only one talking, but it was really nice to hear from you all. If we anybody has any more questions or anything that
Yeah, this is Naveen. Hi.
Hi, Naveen.
So it was really a good. I mean, I've been using LinkedIn from almost 10 years, but I never knew things which you told me just now. We never explored that much. So, like example, volunteer experience, I never knew. I put that in work experience, that part.
Right, yeah.
So that was really helpful. Thank you for that. I'm looking forward for more sessions from you.
Great, thanks, Naveen. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I already shared. I already sent that request to you.
Great. Okay, so we are wrapping up the session. It was lovely having all of you here. I have a participant who's coming in just now, so Hi, Raj.
Hey, hi. How are you?
I'm good. We are ending the session. Sorry.
And I'm really sorry that I just joined actually.
No problem at all. But if you want me to send you the recording, you can get in touch with me. You add me on LinkedIn and then send me your email ID. I will send you the recording.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you, Raj. Where are you joining from?
From Kerala, India.
Okay, great. Okay, so connect with me and send me a message. I will send you the
I will
recording.
definitely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Yeah, stay in touch.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.